Hey, Alpha Fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that crazy drop on the USDC chart, as well as the sideways action, little bit of pumpiness actually on Bitcoin, as the Alpha Fam did predict in the last episode. Now, not many of you watched the last episode, but if you had, you would have been able to catch that pump. And guys, the Alpha Fam is just absolutely killing it in this market. Without further ado, let's go to the charts because we were targeting that $21,000 to $20,000 area as a potential local low on the Bitcoin chart, and we were even suggesting that there was very likely to be a pump, perhaps up to this $20,900 area, and then we would have to obviously defeat this diagonal and then a couple others in order to get bullish on the daily chart. But for the 4-hour chart, that was our play, right? That was our play that we were looking for, and we did manage to hold that local low. So let's just take a look at the update because obviously those were yesterday's conditions. Are we still bullish today? Guys, I do like the posture of the chart today, even though we can say that we did get a rejection on the chart yesterday. I also mentioned that often we have a second chance on these 4-hour charts, and sure enough, that's what we're seeing. So essentially, I just want to point out that our volatility pivot did come down a bit to 19,953, which is what I really want to see us critically hold in order to have the best chance that bias towards the upside. However, if we do lose 20,200, which we're just a hair above, we're going to fall back into the alpha momentum pool, and that's always an open question mark. You're not really sure where you're headed when you're in the alpha momentum pool per se. Often you just fall into it and you go to the other side, or you break into it and you pop to the top. So, you just kind of swim around the alpha momentum pool. But being above the volatility pivot does leave us with a bias to the upside at the time, currently. However, we are looking to break above 20,441 to get out of that bearish control zone. We did that temporarily yesterday, but the daily just smacked us down basically at the threshold of the bearish control zone on the daily chart. So we're just trading the 4-hour here. This was just kind of a 4-hour local bottom kind of play to the upside. And again, the AlphaFam is just absolutely killing it. We hit our target. Okay, we just moved through all of the levels of the momentum pool. And of course, we weren't able to break into this daily formation as we did have a breakdown. We would have loved to just seen us, do something like this, and just go from there. But unfortunately, it just wasn't possible in one swipe. So we are going to make that second effort today. Hopefully, we just don't fall to hell. But if we do, we don't lose significant momentum unless we're under 19,266. And we do have the MACD on our side as long as we're above 19,914. Again, all of this on the 4-hour. Guys, bulls don't get back into control until 22,180, and we are far off from there. So not really worth taking a look at this moment. But overall, we can see that this is this falling wedge. We do want to break above this 20,900, this $21,000 zone to get a chance to take a swipe at the bullish control zone. And that is going to take a little bit of effort. Guys, let's jump over to the daily chart and see what we're facing. There you can see that bearish control zone that we did get rejected from yesterday. And those zones do tend to be very hard to break. Now, we don't get into the bullish control zone on the daily until 24,923. Makes sense because we'll want to be putting in a higher high. And of course, the previous highs was limited in that territory. So just zooming in and focusing on this kind of neutral area and this bearish area that we're kind of stuck in on the daily. Let's go go over to the daily chart. I'm still on the 4 hour there, but we do have the daily levels up. The key levels to watch on the daily here are going to be that the 20,146. So as long as we're above 20,146, I'm still going to be biased to the upside. Now, this was a pretty heavy rejection, and it's maybe not over yet. So we do have 9 hours left in the day. So, this thing could easily get pushed below the daily volatility pivot. But so that is going to be the line in the sand that you want to pay attention to, that 20,146. We are going to hold our momentum to the upside off of this nice little local bounce here on the 4 hour that we had, as long as the daily can hold above 20,230. Otherwise, it's at risk of just retracing further. And of course, we need to get out of that bearish control zone at $21,040. We really want to get above there. It doesn't have to be today. We can just work on pushing back up today if bulls are going to have a chance to take control of this chart, as we're doing a little bit of a rounding here. That's just, I like it to take a little bit more time. Those kind of impulse, moves, they don't always last, right? And so it's kind of like a sugar high. It burns off pretty fast. But if we build a little bit more of a rounding base, then we may have more of a chance to pump and to get back into that falling wedge, maybe even break to the upside. There's a 70% chance of falling wedges breaking to the upside. So this could have been a deviation to the bottom, could have been a little fake out to the downside before pumping back up. And so that is what I would be looking for off of a bullish case, okay? And as long as we're above the daily volatility pivot, I'm going to be looking for that, okay? I'm not going to be bearish as long as we're above the daily volatility pivot. I'm not going to be bearish as long as we're holding our current momentum to the upside. Yeah, if we flip below these numbers that I just gave you, then of course I'm going to have to be looking to the downside, and we can talk about targets perhaps even as low as $18,000 next, right? So guys, where would we start getting pretty excited about this chart? I think we're not going to flip the MACD to that bullish kind of orientation on the daily unless we're above 21,535, and we're not going to add significant momentum to our play unless we do get above that area as well at 21,554. So those are the numbers that I'm looking for. Of course, if we want to briefly comment on what happened with USDC, you can see that this is supposed to be a stable coin, but it dipped all the way down from $1 per USDC all the way down to 82 cents, guys. So people were losing like 20% of their portfolio just by holding stable coins, and they were freaking out. People were just shorting this thing on leverage on Bybit, just pushing it down even harder. And then, of course, at some point, it made no more sense to short it because it was so expensive to take the loan basically. And so basically, people started to long it and are now pushing it back up. And so lots of winners in both directions on leverage. But if you were just holding the stable coin and you kind of freaked out, then you may have sold it at a 20% loss of your portfolio, which a lot of people did. Or worse, you may have gotten into one of those crowded exchanges where everyone was trying to exchange at the same time. And I saw one report of somebody losing $2 million and they got 5 cents worth of USDT because they were in such a urgent push to get out of USDC. They didn't even look at the conversion rates, and I'm not sure what happened there. I think it was Curve Finance where they had that problem. But guys, just to be careful about this stuff, the banks don't work on the weekends, so you're gonna have to just kind of sit back. I know crypto is very used to 24/7. But if we're talking about Circle and USDC, and these guys, they need to get their money out of the banks in order for you guys to be able to exchange it. And so that can only happen on Monday. So you guys are just going to be like screwing each other over if you're just playing all of these games. Personally, I don't think USDC is going to collapse, and I think that this was a lot of panic. Um, so a lot of people panicked themselves into losing a huge chunk of their portfolio without getting the full information. And I understand why, if you had a significant amount of money, that you would want to do that. But at the same time, my guess would be that this goes back to $1 within the next week. Okay. And, that's not financial advice, but you can see we've already recovered here from 82 cents all the way back to 96 cents. And a lot of this was just shenanigans of other crypto users, shorting it to hell, basically freaking out, other crypto users even more. So, this isn't something that someone did to us as a community. This is what we did to ourselves as a community, just by not being able to control our emotions in trading. Of course, if you're only going to take a couple pennies of a loss, right? $1 versus 96 cents, yeah, that can make sense. But when you're losing 20% of your portfolio, you may just want to stop and think, maybe I should just examine all of the evidence before I take a 20% hit across the board, right? So, guys, just let's try to have a little bit of common sense there. But again, things are looking interesting on Bitcoin. We do have a little bit of stability here at this level, and I really do hope that we hold this level and that we get another bounce out of it, some type of a pity bounce at least, some type of mercy bounce to help these guys get out of their positions. Of course, the AlphaFam sold up here at a heavy profit after entering down here, but a lot of people just continued to bag hold, and they could bag hold this all the way down should we continue to break down, just like they did from 60K. Not a good plan. Taking profits is the most exciting. It's the best part of trading. So you guys have to get into the practice of taking profits. And of course, when you see these type of natural ranges forming, right? Even if there's deviations, you're gonna want to, take your profit at the top of these ranges, right? And then there's a little bit of, risk that you might take in buying at the bottom because it could always go lower. But in general, the ranges tend to play out. And so, if you have a healthy stop loss, you're not going to get too wrecked. You can buy if we re-enter the range, right? And then it tends to go back to the range top. So that's kind of the game plan you always have to be thinking about when you do see these type of ranges starting to form, and it'll just help you to panic less. So again, guys, the level that we're looking to hold on the day is a 20,230 approximately, at least 20,146. Okay, like above those levels, I'm just kind of chilling out, just kind of watching what's going on. And if we can break above 21,000, I'm going to start getting very interested because we will have broken back into our formation that has that 70% chance of breaking to the upside. And we're also going to be in striking distance of some momentum that could carry us up as well. And let's see on the 4 hour, just again to summarize these key levels. As long as we're above 19,953, then I'm looking pretty. I'm feeling pretty satisfied with the play that we did here. Okay, and just looking to get above 20,441 for our best chance on that 4 hour, which is going to close in probably another hour or so. Yeah, another hour. So let's see if we can get anything around there or at least hold this level for now. Guys, that was your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.